All right, guys, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time here quick doing a little bit of training during our WAM. I don't even know what week we are, week 5, I think. So the last time that we met, we talked about the 7 attributes of a jewel ambassador here with Plexus. And so I'll just read these off for you guys quick so you remember. The number one was work ethic. 2 was grit. You got to have grit if you want to be a jewel on this team, or resilience or perseverance, whichever word you prefer. 3 was strong vision. 4 was helping others, or a desire to help others. 5 is ability to cast vision, and it is a skill set that can be learned. 6 is you have to be able to lead events. And 7 is leadership. So I'd be thinking about those and which one you can be working on here during the month of July, either working on your work ethic, having more grit, working on having strong vision for yourself and knowing where you're going. Maybe it's you're being more of a servant leader and helping others on your team rather than focusing on yourself. Maybe it's you're going to figure out how to cast vision so you can do that on your calls and continue planting 8 to 12 seeds with your people. Maybe it's you're going to do the brave thing and go start leading events, messenger chat, Zoom product events, doing a sip and see, anything to get you out of your comfort zone and get in front of your people. Or maybe it's 7, leadership. You need to learn how to either lead yourself better, because that's the first person you need to lead, or start to learn how to lead your own people. So that's my first thing for you guys to be thinking about. We aren't all born with these qualities. It is a choice. And these are all things that can be developed and learned over time. Everything is figure outable. You just have to be hungry enough and willing to dig in. So our new topic for tonight, I didn't really have a title for it. I guess we could kind of call it tracking, virtual office work, I'll have to come up with a better title. But my first question for you guys is, are you a tracker? Are you every day writing down your numbers that you see in your virtual office? So there's a lot to see in the virtual office, but you guys, Plexus really does set us up for success in giving us these amazing tools to use to our benefit and to our team's benefit. So you should be in there every day writing down. When you go to your dashboard, you see the points and rank box. You're writing down how many points you see there. You're also writing down how many new VIPs have joined your team so far this month. And then if there's any brand ambassadors that upgraded from VIP. So there should be three numbers you're writing down. And then you should be writing down numbers at the end of the month. So 2 ways you can do this is you can wait till, 10:59, and then you're writing down that number. You see that final point count. Or better yet, if you can track where you land on the 28th of the month, and then you track at 10:59, and you can see how many points your team, yourself, you were able to gain between the 28th and the last minute of the month. Because a lot of times that could be 10s, 20s, 100s if you have a huge team. So those are the numbers that I would be actively tracking. And what I'm doing is I am creating spreadsheets. So I have 3 Excel sheets always pulled up. One is tracking my workers' joins, how many they're getting each month, how many points they end at, their teams end at the end of the month. And then actually my other one is for WAMs. So I would start using Excel sheets so you guys can start tracking your own numbers, your team's numbers. And then what will happen is you guys are going to want to start sensing patterns over time. So I've been tracking now since January. So I've got a good 6 months of data where I can be looking horizontally across for each person and seeing, okay, are there patterns? Is this a stable number? Is this going up and then down? Is this slowly going backwards? Is this slowly going up? And by coming up with those patterns, you guys, you can figure out what is your next step. How can you fix this? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? So you guys, we really can't run a business blindly. I have tried to in the past for a long, long time. but you just can't. You can't go blindly because you'll never reach your destination if you don't have a specific goal, right? You're not just running to run. You got to know where you're going. So same thing with your business is know where your numbers are at. So become an analyzer and start looking for patterns. And what I'm finding, you guys, is it's really eye-opening. So you can be figuring out what to be focusing more of or less of. Focusing on more or less. There we go. So number one, if you haven't tracked your points, I want you to, for homework, create a spreadsheet and have this up at all times. And you're going to start putting in how many joins you have each month. And you might look at it and you might be really frustrated. That frustration should lead you to go make changes, or you might look and see that you're actually doing better than you thought. So Melissa Eichenhorst says that stability, constant, is actually growth. So let me explain that. You guys, let's say you have a team and your points, if you look at your points, the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you would say, within kind of depending on how many points you have, it could be within a couple tens, it could be within 100 points, where it's just kind of doing that, that curvy wave, each month, but it's pretty straight lined, constant. That's not necessarily a bad thing because that actually takes work to do that. Because of natural attrition, if you were not doing any work, if you were not recruiting, your numbers would actually tend to slide off. But if you are showing up and you are recruiting each month and working, you're going to naturally balance out the natural attrition that comes. So even though the attrition is making your numbers dip, when you recruit, you're bringing it up back to the middle line again. So that might be you. If you're looking and you're like, oh, it's been about the same, it means that you yourself are probably busting your butt to keep it even, but you don't have anybody else working. You don't have anybody else who's really serious about this business yet, or is putting in a lot of effort and work. And so that sort of person, you should be going out and duplicating. You will never get out of that medium range, that constant, until you go and develop business builders and you have people as hungry as you to run. And then that's where you'll see that you'll knock out of the median and you'll start growing forward, which is where we're all headed. So that sort of person needs a ton of attention on duplication and developing leaders, not just followers, not just people doing a post, but casting big vision, finding people that are hungry for change and linking arms with them, connecting with them daily to get them up and running. Now, maybe you're a person that your points shot up. Like if I look at my sheet, I see everybody's points going and shooting up in March, right? For the incentive, which we should never be just working for incentive, you guys. But sometimes we do. They all shot up, and then I'm seeing some people sliding back down slowly. So that's showing me that you're probably only motivated in certain times of your business, and you might need to check your motive, check your why, check your vision, but also check your people, because they might be doing kind of the same thing. But maybe your points shot up super quick, and then you notice the next month you dropped off 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 points. That's probably an attrition issue. And I would be checking to see, for example, I had someone on my team, not on here this month, who between this month and last month lost about 40 points. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, where is this coming from? And so I asked them, and I had her go into every single person in their back office and figure out, okay, where is this point decay coming from and why is it? It could be that you're just going for quick joins, and then these people are never communicating back, or they're not open to growing, or they return their products right away, or they're after 60 days, they're saying they're done because they can't afford it. Maybe you're not attracting quality people who have integrity, who are willing to stick here, for the 60, 90 days, who are willing to commit to the process. Those could be two things, reasons why you are having attrition issues. It could also be that maybe you develop some silvers and they don't know how to take care of their people, or they're not communicating with their people, or maybe they say they're doing it, but you don't know exactly what they're saying. You're going to have to micromanage that area. You're going to have to taproot, show that person how to help their people so that they can keep their people on, keep their people on. Yeah, 10 touch retention. So what also could be is, and you guys can expect this from now on, is when we have a big push for like an iPad or for the Remarkable, typically what's going to happen is we as a team are going to recruit a whole bunch of people. And you can be, so that was March. So 60 to 90 days out, March, April, May, June, you can expect to see some people fall off. Because if you're recruiting 6 people, you know, the larger amount of people that you recruit, the larger amount of people that might potentially say, you know what, I gave it the 60, I gave it the 90, it's just not for me. So you can almost always expect some sort of bigger attrition or decay after people are pumping out joins for some sort of incentive. So during those months of March, April, May, June, that's where you're going to want to really amp up your recruiting so that you can level out when you do have the attrition that's coming from that. Okay, maybe you've been stuck below rank for a while. So if I were in your position, I would be focusing on getting back to rank. I think some of us get so like focused on the next rank or the next big, you know, step of emerald, where it can seem so big and so impossible. So I was talking to Christina the other day and she said, well, if someone's below rank, just focus on getting back to rank. That's the first step. And then once they get back to rank, okay, let's take the next step. You know, let's break it down into chunks until, you know, all of a sudden they're even closer to that next rank than they thought. Let's see, maybe your points are trending up. That's great. Just know that it won't always remain that way. So maybe someone new who's starting, you know, they kind of start to trend up. But my advice for this person is to get ahead of the attrition by continuing to recruit consistently each month, trying to go silver, right? 3 personal joins, and then aiming to develop 1 silver a month to keep advancing. So if you're constantly bringing in 3 of your own and helping another person bring 3, that's 6. When people do get to the 60 to 90 days and there's some natural attrition, that's going to balance that out. So these are all things that you guys can be applying not only to yourself and your business, but also helping your people. So show them how to start tracking their points. Show them how to start finding patterns. You know, if you see that they're having a lot of attrition, jump in there and show them numbers so that, you know, numbers don't lie. And we really need to rely on numbers. Sometimes our feelings get in the way and we're like, oh my gosh, I just can't do this. Like, I can't keep my people. I have so many people falling off, so many people turning off their subs. But if we actually go and figure out our retention rates, we might actually be right on track. So if you ever have feelings about it or your duplication rates, go into Michelle's video, numbers on Freedom Team page, and check out, go do your retention rates. Do your silver development rate, and then you'll be able to see and actually, you know, you can rely on those numbers. Numbers don't lie. And so you can see, well, actually, you know, I'm doing better than I thought, or this area needs more work than I thought. And then once you have that solid evidence, then you can go to, you know, get better in those areas that might be lacking. So I'm going to stop recording because that's all I have for that.